breathing techniques. Good for me. Okay. Good morning. My name is Ashley Oliver. I think you already know that. I am owner and sole proprietor of Oliver Com Solutions DBA, and I am sharing a video this morning to let you all know on my progress with the CISSP, or the CISSP, as the recruiters are now calling it. This is news. I did not know we were calling it the CISSP these days, but now you know it's the CISSP. I'm very close to scheduling my exam, and I have obtained a lot of knowledge, not necessarily in the practice of reading the books. I love to read, but this morning I was going through my CBK 5th edition book that I obtained from the CISSP conference in New Orleans in October of last year, I think, 2018. And I was going through the book, and I was actually getting really irritated because I wasn't learning anything. And I was like, why am I spending my time reading this stuff and then I already know? But that's not ISC2's fault. It's my own. I need to change the way that I think in order to pass this exam. And as many who have passed and who do hold the credentials have told me, you need to think like a manager. It is a management exam. And once again, don't think like an engineer. It's really hard to tell an engineer to not think like an engineer. I feel like it's like telling a doctor to not think like a doctor. But I understand finally what they mean by that, and I realize that in order to pass this exam and tame this beast, I need to think outside the box. And so I decided this morning to reopen Shon Harris's book, the All-in-One CISSP Exam Guide by Shon Harris. It's the latest edition. I'm not sure what version. But I like it because it actually presents the topics in a more conceptual level versus the more technical level, which that's this CISSP ISC2 Mike Chapley official 8th edition book is definitely, I think it's, in my own opinion, it's written from a more technical perspective, and that, in my experience, did not help me with the exam when I took it last time. So I decided that I am going to, this morning I purchased the CISSP practice exams from Shon Harris, and I'm going to go through those. Instead, I'm actually going to start with the practice exams. The questions in Shon Harris's book are actually written just like the ones on the exam. I took the exam December 3rd, 2018, and so I am aware of the way the exam is written and the topics that are on it, although I did not pass. So I think if I go through these practice exams and I can identify areas where I may be weak, which is hard for me to admit, but if I can do that and then refer to the all-in-one exam guide, then I am going to consider myself an expert and someone who is ready to defend their knowledge against this exam. I also promise that I will not think like an engineer. And I'm not like saying that like it's not important to think that way, and I'm not saying that there's nothing technical, because there, like, one of my first, I probably can't even tell you what the question is, but it had to do with physical layer and cabling and that stuff. So the technical knowledge is still relevant. So I'm sure that something I picked up from the 8th edition study guide is still relevant to the exam. I'd say like 20 to 30% of that stuff is relevant. But the most important thing is to think like a manager. What do managers do? Save money. I should know, because I'm not only an engineer, but I am a business owner. And I have been in business for quite a while, and I actually save money by doing the work myself. I'm a fan of saving money and frugality. So, yeah, I think this is it. I think I'm going to schedule my exam before September. That's all I'm giving you. I don't want to freak myself out, but I think that I'm finally ready. And before I go, I did want to share something that I picked up, but I don't think I can share my screen because this is not public knowledge, but I do want to say the reason why I think that this method of studying is going to work for me. And here is why. The questions, Sean Harris's questions, let me go back. This is APIs, software engineering. Sounds so fun. I don't know why more people don't do it. Hold on. There's a specific, oh, here it is. Okay, there was a question in here about ping, which, like, with my network engineering experience, I thought was pretty low level, but I approached this question differently and I thought more about it, and the question is essentially asking what protocol does ping use? I can say that. And I'm sure that everyone is going to automatically say ICMP, which is correct, but as you know, the way the exam is written, there's a like 99% chance that ICMP is going to be in all 4 answers. So I narrowed the questions down to what I knew from my experience and from my books, and also from my current experience with Kali Linux. What did I do yesterday? Something with Netcat. Using Netcat to create chats between servers and clients. But yeah. So part of that, we wrote a bash script. And in the script, we had to change the amount of echo replies when we were pinging our servers. And so, of course, I did narrow down to 2 answers, being whichever ones have echo in the answer are the answer. So that narrows me down to 2, process of elimination. Another method I think is going to help me pass this exam. But once I got down to those 2 answers, I was like, there's like nothing else I can think of that would point to the answer. But then I had to choose between, it came down to time exceeded and echo reply. And the common sense, time exceeded would mean that we ran out. And if I were doing my firewall work, I would then run, I get excited when I talk about this stuff. I would then run a packet capture and see what types of packets are being sent. And that would tell me if I was getting SYN packets or reset packets, blah, blah, blah. But back to this question, I answered the one that had the ICMP v4, I should say, echo request, and the type 0 echo reply. The only thing narrowing down between type 11 time exceeded and type 0 echo reply were the actual echo reply. I answered the question, waited until I was done, and then checked, and it was right. So this method is definitely going to work for me, and I'm excited about it. And hopefully the next time you see my face on one of these things, it's because I passed my exam. And if not, I'm moving to Peru.